have a game plan to talk to a lady. Somebody will always say a woman like, "Hey, you look beautiful today." I'll be like, "But no, not me." I would be so bored. I'm like, I could have said you was ugly as hell and that your eyebrows just look like it's about to cut your nose.
Oh,
I mean,
you've been hanging out with Fred?
I will say that,
Right.
I will be bold. I will do something that was not original. I will do something that was original, that was out of the norm, because women hear that all the time. If a woman knows that she's attractive and she catches it like every hour on the hour, she's going to get sick of hearing it. Okay? So to hear something that's out of the norm, it will intrigue, it will spark a conversation. Okay? Do something that's out of the norm.
That's funny.
Do something that's out of the norm every day. And it will change a person's perception on how life really is and how life is supposed to be.
What were you saying?
I'm laughing because Monday I was showing a property or getting some inspections done. And you know I work in Uptown, so you have various elements in Uptown. And I see the guy coming. He's walking up the street. And right when he gets to me, he says, "Merry Christmas."
What?
So y'all know me. I thought about it, but I'm like, you know what? It's Monday. I said, "Merry Christmas to you, too." I mean, whatever world he was in, he was happy, and it was Christmas Day.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't want to, I just said, "Merry Christmas to you, too."
Right. Meanwhile, you're checking your calendar like, what month is this? I'm so lost.
It is genuine. It is genuine.
Right. But he was authentic, I believe he was, Drew. He was authentic. He believed Monday was Christmas morning. So I didn't want to be mean and be my usual sarcastic self.
That's funny. We're good at sarcasm around here.
Merry Christmas. And about a half an hour later, he saw me still standing over there. He was like, "Your bus still haven't came yet?"
That's pretty funny.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Like,
nothing to say.
I'm not waiting on the bus, sir, but I appreciate your concern.
What are some, because you have a teaching spirit, what are some common traps for aspiring writers?
Common trap for the aspiring writer is forcing it. That's a trap. You cannot force creativity.
Okay.
Jay-Z said this in the documentary, where if you force it, people are not going to be in tune with it. You have to consider who will read it. If it's not going to, if you force anything, it will not be your best. It's not going to be, you're not going to be satisfied with it.
Okay.
Don't rush it. The common trap is writer's block. That's the common trap.
All right.
It's common because I have a different approach with my style of writing. I normally would pick it up due to the time of the day or how much free time that I have, because I have a lot of things as well as a relationship to maintain. I have to think about what I'm writing about, who's going to be writing, who's this for? Is this for somebody? Is this going towards the release of some animosity within me? Is this going to be a memoir? Is this going to be a quick sonnet? Just write it down. Once you develop a flow and it's consistent and your mind is going and you're doing something to enhance the creativity process, to stay at it. There have been times where I have been writing for 3 hours straight. There have been times where I write for a day and I don't pick it back up till like either 3 weeks to a month later.
So you write based on how you're feeling, and that length of time can vary. So you don't have a set time where, okay, every morning at 8 I'm going to write.
Yes, there really is no set time for me now, because I've had my, especially as of lately, I've had my hand in a lot of endeavors in my life to where finding the time to write and finding a creative outlet has been very, very difficult. But when I do find it and when I gain it, I hold on to it for dear life, and I just roll with it based off of based off of imagination and creative. Because a creative mind it's different. It's different than the average mind. Creative mind is always thinking 5 steps ahead, and it sees things that the average eye never sees. Like if you went to the Art Institute of Chicago, mm-hmm. and if you see Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night portrait, the average eye might see a black castle with a midnight blue sky and a bold moonlight. My eye, being an artist and being a creator, would have seen the emotion of Van Gogh, the pain in each and every stroke that he implemented on that canvas. And then if you really pay attention to Van Gogh's background, you see that he was jacked up. Any man that commits suicide at the age of 37 and prior to that cut his ear off, that's a man with problems.
Yeah.
So in order for him to unleash all that frustration, it had painting was his outlet. It was his outlet. So that's how I understood Van Gogh from an artistic mind. And other artists alike will explain the same way. We'll tell you the same thing.
Okay. How often do you get an opportunity to read? So you write, you teach. How often do you just get an opportunity to read for enjoyment?
I recently just got a book called The House That Jack Built by Hal Jackson. Everyone knows who Herb Kent is, right?
Yeah. Herb Kent.
Okay. Right, Herb Kent, okay? When Herb Kent was to Chicago, Hal Jackson was to New York radio.
All right.
And now Hal Jackson has Herb Kent beat, and many people don't know this. Hal Jackson was the first African-American sports broadcaster for Howard University.
Okay.
And he was the first African-American owner of a radio station in New York City.
Nice.
His business partner was Percy E. Sutton, who was the former attorney of Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
And Percy E. Sutton was also the founder of It's Showtime at the Apollo. What Hal Jackson did was he was on the air longer than Herb Kent, but he stayed more on the business side. And until the age of 96, he was still on the air for WBLS in New York City.
Nice. You
so he
go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So he's I recently got a copy of his autobiography, and I read it before, and I always wanted to have another copy. So I really enjoyed his story because you get to really see that the old saying, it's like golden apples are not sweet, and it's in the book. He is the true epitome of that quote. That golden apples are not sweet, and this is a guy that has close to 75 years in the radio industry, and he has went through. He has endured through life to get to where he was at, and for him to be the man that he was up until he passed away 5 years ago, that was inspiring to me.
Okay.
That's what has been inspiring to me.
Cool. So what's next for Deacon Drew? And where did that name come from? Is it because of your inspirational quotes?
No, Deacon Drew came from radio. Everyone's familiar with Chris Michaels. He is the current host of The Quiet Storm on V103.
Yes.
During my WGCI days, I was on the air with him as one of his co-hosts on one of his weekend shows. He had this game show called Fill in the Blank, and the setup was a church, and his title was Pastor Reverend Rabbi Chris Michaels, and my full title for the game show purpose was Deacon Collection Plate Bearer Sergeant at Arms Head Usher Boy Drew.
Really?
But it was condensed to Deacon Drew. So Deacon Drew was my first professional radio name.
That's hilarious.
And it stuck with me ever since. And it, ironically, it really helped me because when I did radio in Indianapolis, it was for a gospel station. And they kind of like tied into it. But I've used it for class on radio and everything that came along with it. And I caught the backlash for that. I just said to myself, in no way, shape, or form does it interfere with my Lord and Savior, with my walk with God. If it bothers you so much, sorry. I'm not changing my name. I'm not changing my name for you. No, this is a brand. Okay?
I don't even think it's problematic.
No, it's not. It's not. But I do know one thing. I have no business in anyone's pulpit because those that really know me, I'm let's just say I just don't need to be in somebody's pulpit. Let's just leave it at that.
You should pass that advice to some of these bootleg ministers out here today. Don't get me wrong. We're human and we will all fail. We all will fail. But when it becomes a lifestyle of failure, where you just making up stories, talking about the gang leaders called you, then maybe you should find another profession. What's next for Deacon Drew?
What's next for Deacon Drew? Deacon Drew is still, he's coming up with an idea for another book.
Okay.
I'm actually revamping an idea based off of my experiences during college, and I'm trying to tie it into my current life.
Okay.
Basically, it's more like a more of a coming of age type of non-fictional piece or fictional account of my life escapade living at WGCI and the transition from acting like a boy to finally acting like a man. And it's going to be quite comical. And then I'm actually thinking, coming up with more quotes by the days. So I may do Authentic Words Reloaded with 10 to 20 more quotes, and I'm going to format it down to certain areas of people's life. So if it's a quote on love that you're looking for, it'll be in the love section. If it's a quote on business or motivation or just to get you through the day, it'll be focused on in the endurance section. And I'm adding more quotes to it by the day to where it'll be so to where to reach the masses. And now I'm trying to figure out. I'm just working.
Okay.
I'm just working and staying focused. And right now I'm promoting the book, Lulu.com, LULU.com.
All right. I was going to ask next where you get that from. Go ahead.
Lulu.com. Lulu.com /spotlight /authentic words.
All right.
And just click on add to cart. And
make sure you pay for it. Right.
Yes, please pay for it. Yes. In the name, yes, please pay for it.
How can people find you on social media?
Social media, Facebook.com /Deacon Drew is authentic. Instagram and Twitter, Deacon_Drew, DREW.
You mentioned, I'm going to let you go momentarily, but you were talking about what the end of this conversation sounded like growth. You talked about becoming a man from a boy. Everybody knows I'm the biggest New Edition fan in the whole world. What did you think of that movie, speaking of Boys to Men?
New Edition. Oh my God. The overall story about New Edition, it was so intriguing because you never know. I think I'm more mesmerized that that brotherhood is still intact after all that.
Yeah.
That's what makes you a man, to where you overlook the BS. Severe BS that can actually drive a wedge in between friendships, and that just because you're chronologically over the age of 21, that doesn't make you a man. Having a job and having bills and making babies, that don't make you a man. It doesn't.
That sounds like something you need to add to your book.
It'll be added to it. Trust me, in my own special way. Having a man making a baby does not make you a man. Just like bringing a baby into the world doesn't make you a woman.